Hello and welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Tonight we are bringing you another Breath of the Wild Any Percent tournament match. It is getting close to the end of the match. This is winners bracket semifinals. It's MrPop1 versus Wolhaiksong, and it should be a very exciting match. And tonight I am joined by Tallis Thomas and Mitchie Cuse. And how are you doing tonight, gentlemen?
Doing good.
So I'm going to... Give me a sec. I'm going to switch scenes. And I'm going to have them set off very shortly. Okay. And I will leave you two gentlemen to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Song versus Pop.
This is going to be good.
Okay. So I saw Pop's name changed to Pop1. I was like, well, something broke. Nope. All right. Yeah, it should be a pretty good race. This is like definitely the highest level of matchup that we should expect to see throughout the Breath of the Wild tournament. We have a world record holder, and we have someone who's very, very close.
Yeah,
So,
and then
go ahead.
both of these guys are either or sub 30 in their times.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
This is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, so it should be rather close. In a tournament position, I definitely think we can be expecting some pretty cool things to come out of this race. Simply said that you kind of really expect your tournament times to be your 29s and your 28s. It's definitely a much more difficult environment, so Pop can definitely stand to shine here as well, despite not being quite there.
Yeah, well, when you're racing the tournament, it's a lot different because when you're doing your normal runs, you can reset at any time if something goes wrong. But these, you have to go straight through. So
I guess
if something goes wrong,
is close
cover.
enough to sub 30. I imagine that was a slip of the tongue tomorrow, but for what it's worth, that sub 30 is with a very interesting Ganon. That's a wall-going Ganon right there. Also, rather, that's that 3007 is with a very interesting Ganon. So, yeah, the times are very, very close in that respect.
So what do you think? Do you think Song's going to go for Boko Shield or Pot Lid tonight?
I imagine his intention is to go for Pot Lid. Whether or not he ends up with Boko Shield is a different story.
That is very true. Alright, so up to the first boss of the game.
Hey, DGC.
What's up, DG?
First boss.
Resurrection.
Again, as we've talked about several times, this is Slate Clipping. So we're going to face the opposite direction to the direction that we want to clip through, and then we're going to open the slate. So you see, right, in the case of Song, you see him run against the wall, and then open the slate. It then pushes it through the wall, and we get to continue up the cliff face to the side here. This lets us skip the tower cutscene, but it also means that we now need to clip in shrines.
And also it locks the clock at 5:15 a.m., so we don't actually have to care about weather effects or anything like that. It's always morning. So we had a Song out of there just probably by a second or two. He was first to clip out. Mr. Pop picking up some backup peppers.
Yep. So I'm grabbing mushrooms instead.
Are going to become another debate? Is mushrooms versus peppers?
Mushrooms is better in a very, very obscure way, but it's non-necessary at all, so
yeah.
I think it's fine. Are the mic icons on the wrong commentators? Possibly. Who knows? Apologies if that's the case. Okay. Essential that players save as much time here. It can be possible to die if you're not quick.
Yeah, these
players
Bocos
seem to not need their their food. So that's good. They'll have it for later, if that does assist them later.
Yeah, those Bocos are pretty unforgiving sometimes.
Indeed, there'll be a lot of resets.
They'll sneak up and just smack you, or they'll get the shot off with the arrow and take you just enough health while you'll die in like a.
Okay, coming up here is Skew Clipping. They're going to jump against the wall with a shield jump and set their angle the opposite direction. They're going to then do another shield jump against the wall, as you're seeing Pop do now. Pop, unfortunately, missing and needs to reset his skew. And straight through.
So here's one of the first like subtle movement in these shrines. And I know, Mitchie, you've been focusing a lot trying to fix these small optimizations.
I'd like to say focusing.
I've noticed in your stream that you've been trying them out more, but
True.
stasis animation by going into weapon throw.
Yep, I did verify through Rasen. Rasen earns the current world record holder that it does save a very marginal amount of time to just do a single weapon pump, i.e. pull the weapon out and then put it away, to get Link to essentially reset his state after stasis or something, so you'll be able to sprint sooner. It's only very minor, but it's not too difficult to do. Maybe worthwhile. Who's Rasen? Is he in the tournament? Yes. Secret final boss.
He's the winner bracket.
You don't actually win unless you win. Okay. Both players are just about on the same pace, with Song being a tiny bit ahead.
They're button mashing through the old man dialogue, which is actually my least favorite part of the entire run for some reason. I hate listening to the old man.
Oh, I suppose, yeah, he does definitely throw, like, a stop sign in the flow of the game. It is a very annoying little bit of dialogue. But 1-2-2-1, it's definitely, well, rather 2-1-1-2, I suppose, yes. Quite simple to do. Alright, coming up is BTBs. We just basically skipped past the stasis launch that we can briefly explain later on. BTBs, or bullet time bounces, are probably the most integral piece of movement we are doing in 80%. You need two things, or three if you want to add the shield jump itself. You'll need to enter bullet time, you'll need an enemy that can ragdoll, such as our red bokoblin, and by landing on that red bokoblin in the bullet time mode, and then removing the bullet time mode from the equation, the game will actually go at the accelerated speed as you exit. Tongue twister on explaining BTBs today.
Yeah, I think it's been roughly estimated to be about 20 times the normal movement speed.
It should be about 19 times if cancelled correctly.
Yeah, so it's considerably faster than any type of movement we have.
Yep.
That being said, it's also one of the most finicky. If your angles are slightly off or anything like that, you can wind up in a totally different section.
Exactly.
First BTB, though, going to Cryonis is a little bit more forgiving. You have a larger window of time to activate your bullet time bounce. The next three that we'll see for actually pulling out your bow and entering bullet time is a lot smaller. You can see that, you know, if you're off by a couple frames, you'll wind up in a totally different section of the map.
That's very true. Although we may point out that it is easier to do the, or more forgiving for the Cronus one. That's one of the few where you cannot continue if you don't actually get it.
Yeah.
So it has its benefits and its troubles, I suppose, as well. At Zelda speedruns, make a Breath of the Wild pun. No.
So one thing that we didn't get to commentate, and we'll see Mr. Pop do it right now, is Cryo Skip. It's pretty much the only time we ever use the Cryonis rune in the entire run. Essentially, you just make a Cryonis block, shield jump onto it as it's raising up, jump again, and unequip your shield. And if you time it right and you're in the right positioning, you will skip over having to make a platform and just hop right up to right in front of the monk.
That's correct. And Magnesis BTV here. Song missing it. Slightly late press on the bullet time there.
Back up.
And that one mistake lets Pop catch up right now. Pop going to have his first try here as well. I notice I believe Pop is not using motion controls here, while Song I think is.
Yep.
Pop not getting a particularly good BTB, but he will be able to continue with this here.
And Song
getting a very good BTB. This is definitely fine.
Yeah, so Mr. Pop
Spending an additional time.
Doesn't use motion controls. So
Didn't seem like it.
Watch him fight Ganon. There's a couple things.
Oh. Pop getting D-padded, where unfortunately the D-pad on a Pro controller is a little bit fussy. If you're pressing the left or the right, it often will press up or down. If you're pressing up or down, it will often press left or right. That is because the center of the D-pad overlaps a little bit too much, I suppose. It's a very annoying fault on Nintendo's behalf.
But yeah, so the unfortunate hitting up on his D-pad instead of to one of the equipment.
Pop too late on this one as well, unfortunately.
Not getting one of the equipment slots. Unfortunately, that means he can't successfully do the fall damage cancel, which, if you don't know what that actually is you go into weapon throw while you're falling, you let go, and as Link begins to throw, so you don't want him to actually fully throw it, as he begins to do his throwing animation, if you unequip or re-equip either a shield or a your fall height actually resets according to the game engine, and damage if you time it properly.
Pop's definitely having a little bit of trouble on this one here.
Yeah, that one was very far left.
Unfortunately, still not the best, but this one should reach just about the shrine.
Yeah, this one looks pretty good. The song is just finishing Magnesis as Pop is arriving.
Yes, definitely a bit of a discrepancy between the two runners here now. But anything can happen, as it is any percent still. Oh, unfortunately, Pop getting the same D-pad issue again, but fortunately landing in the water this time.
Is he
with
gonna
an unloaded shrine?
He gets the unloaded.
Yes.
There's a song going for box walk, which I think you can explain a little bit better than I can.
Absolutely. So box walk is just a simple stasis launch, but instead of the obvious notion of just grabbing onto it, in the case of a rocket launch like we will do later, we need to actually continue to move along the object, because the object will continue to move whilst it's flying. So we will go to walk, as we're doing here, along the box.
Song getting the super low angle on the bomb's BTB, so he flew super quick. Unfortunately, he landed and got the Guardian cutscene, which will lose him a couple seconds, but nothing terrible.
It's about 10 seconds of a time loss, but I don't know how much that would change. Oh, Song actually throwing the axe there. That would have been quite unfortunate if it got stuck in the base. He would be without it. That cutscene does cost a little bit of time, but his angle definitely saved him some time as well, so that will hopefully trade off fairly well. Pop landing in the water and then proceeding on to run his way through the shrine. It's always a little bit unfortunate if you go too far and land in the water after you drop down.
You'll see that. Oh, and now you'll see that MrPop will actually go for the surfboard versus the box walk.
Yep. The plank or the surfboard is definitely a little bit more of a consistent strategy. You can always really get it to go the direction you want, and it's very difficult to fall off of it. So it is definitely an operable way to go about doing this portion as well. Yep, we'll see him make it perfectly over with no issue at all. Song actually doing, I believe, Wind Bomb, but I was too distracted by the plank. So a brief explanation of Wind Bomb is that we're going to jump off a ledge with any amount of height, i.e. so we can get bullet time. We're going to place a single bomb, swap to the other bomb, place a second bomb, swap back, and then that first bomb will propel the second bomb into Link. And that will send us into the air.
Yeah, and that's a very new
Yep,
piece of tech that we have.
I would say a month now?
Just a couple days over a month. So the Wind Bomb was officially put onto Twitter September 5th, I believe. So it's just over a month that we've had it. And due to that
GT with the facts. I like that.
Unfortunately, MrPop missed the BTB, so he is losing quite a bit of time right now. I think it's usually about 30 seconds if you have to run instead of getting the BTB, which is widening the gap that Song has. But yeah,
Explain the EDI cycle. We'll talk about that if we see it happen.
Don't think Pop goes for Wind Bomb, so
unless something has changed.
Yeah. So unless Song gets close to ZDI cycle, we'll talk about that. But yeah, Wind Bombs are very new. They're essentially a portable stasis launch.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. That's a very accurate way to put it. It basically replaces the traditional stasis launches that were being used for super launches in longer categories.
Yeah. So yeah, you can do super launches out of them. You can do vertical wind bombs. You can do wind bombs that are more for speed. They're extremely versatile. We're still discovering a whole ton of stuff that you can do with them. But they've saved a bit of time in any percent, but the longer categories, it's definitely made the most impact.
So I'm doing another version of stasis launch here, which is a rocket launch. This is, as I described before, a launch in which we're just going to grab onto the object. I believe they're generally done with trees, but they can be done with all manner of things, such as rocks.
That rocket launch in particular is affectionately known as Hell Tree.
Yes, unfortunately, it has a numerous amount of interesting situations that it can cause, as we may have seen in other races before. Pop actually getting something that we don't generally see a lot lately because seemingly a lot of people have swapped to Wind Bomb, but that's first cycle there, which is essentially getting to the platform, throwing the bomb, blowing up the bomb, and jumping near in the same amount of time so you can make it with one single cycle of the platform moving back and forth. Very cool to watch.
Yeah,
and very hard to perform.
Never got the opportunity to perform that.
Very difficult in my opinion. I was doing it a bit before Wind Bombs were discovered, but it's still very possible to miss, and missing it can cost you a lot of time. So I'm going for his first castle BTB attempt here, unfortunately unsuccessfully, slightly late. This BTB does have some level of freedom since Wind Bombs have been added. You can take a lower or a less stamina attempt and then Wind Bomb the rest of the way. This is very precise. I think it's important to note out that this is definitely close to, if not a one-frame trick. So unsuccessfully doing this and not taking a recovery opportunity can be frustrating and difficult.
Looks like Song got it second try, but it looks like he's very right on that one.
Yeah, that one is fine. Oh, I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying. It would likely be he jumped at a different timing for the Bokoblin turning. But this should still be perfectly okay.
Yeah.
The issue with significantly off-course angles is that you will lose more stamina and speed whilst you're trying to turn.
Yeah, so you'll see Song make very slight adjustments as he gets closer to his target. And there's actually a breeze at the Hyrule Castle once you get to the courtyard that actually blows you to the left. So looks like his course corrected pretty much perfectly. He's going to have to pump a little bit to get the...
Yeah, we'll be fine. There we go. I asked Pop about cycle skip, and he said you just muscle memories it. I can see that. I think that's a big factor for a lot of runners. Muscle memory in speedrunning is definitely one of your biggest friends. Okay, arrows from Song, very good. 11 arrows right there. 5 fire, 5 normal, and I believe a bomb.
1 bomb.
Alright, Pop now getting the paraglider as well. And we should see Pop go for the Castle BTB here too. Song unfortunately not getting bananas. This will be a large stopping point if he is not successfully able to get bananas. Unfortunately, it's purely RNG. We have no control.
There's roughly a 50 to 60% chance that you'll have a banana in the crate. Sometimes it can take a while. I've seen, I think one of the earlier races, it was 7th try someone got bananas.
So second try, unsuccessful. Pop unsuccessfully getting the BTB either though.
These are definitely the 2 biggest choke points in the run, is getting the Castle BTB and also bananas.
Absolutely. The Castle BTB is a very integral part. Song does in fact seem to have gotten bananas. And Pop does seem to get his Castle BTB. Excellent. Song going for another win bomb here. This one does require a little bit more height than the previous.
But it looks like he got it.
Successfully getting it, yeah. Swapping to Magnesis here first, so he looks like he will, on the way back, get the bow. Yep. Just trying to process what that might be indicating. So he grabs the halberd here. We do need this for plates. Okay, so he swapped to Magnesis, but he hasn't got the bow yet. Now he has to swap back to bombs.
Yeah, he'll probably grab the bow after...
Get the bow on the way out. Then, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
He might change that simply because he swapped to push. No. Alright, we place a bomb here as we continue to run. This is to lure the Lizard Foss into just attempting to kill that bomb. Or knock it away even. I guess he's not killing it.
I don't... He just... The Lizalfa just gets really excited about bombs for some reason.
They try to push them away, as most enemies do in the game. It's one of the very interesting, wouldn't say flaws in AI, but it's very interesting.
There's actually...
They get very distracted.
Looks like Pop got first try bananas, if I'm not mistaken.
Does seem so.
Yeah, sometimes the
heavily
Lizalfas
focused on Song.
are doing what exactly I was about to say with Song, was they're just jumping in front of the bomb. They're not attacking it, they're just really excited there's a bomb.
It's true. They're dancing.
And someone that's most excited about you as how excited that Lizalfa is about bombs. Anyway, you'll see Mr. Pop will not go for Wind Bomb, and he will go for the, I guess, old now library route.
That seems to be the case. Song now cooking here, and he's about to make his way out. He does in fact remember to get the bow. Very good. This isn't the biggest detriment if you miss it. There is a bow in Ganon's room. Excuse me, in Ganon's room. But going out of the way to grab anything on Ganon can cause significant time loss and difficulty to kill Ganon, simply because that will change the way Ganon reacts. Ooh, Linkus
giant.
7 with the big raid. Thank you very much,
God.
Linkus 7.
Almost 500 people. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the
Tuning
Breath
in
of the Wild
a
race.
very, very good time, guys. This is a Breath of the Wild any percent tournament race between MrPop1 and Wolhaiksong. That's being, I believe, the 5th and I'd like to say 3rd place holder at the current leaderboard. Of course, the leaderboards are now joined, so that may not be particularly accurate. This is going to be a very close race. Unfortunately, Song is unfortunately for Song and unfortunately for Pop, Song has definitely pulled ahead. Unfortunately for Song, you're not successfully getting that wind bomb there. To briefly explain Wind Bomb again for the guys who just tuned in, Wind Bomb is a new trick. It's been discovered a month and a little bit ago at this point. It's by placing 2 bombs. We're going to enter bullet time, place a bomb, enter bullet time. Place a second bomb, swap back to the first, explode the first, and have it hit the second one, and then hit Link. This is a very versatile movement tech that is now used in all categories and any percent. Song now entering Blights. Wind Blight first, many people's least favorite, whilst Pop in fact is grabbing his bow, an extra shield, and the Claymore. Is this best of 3? Yes, it is best of 3. This is round 1, or match 1.
So, for anybody that doesn't know the boss rush that Song has just entered, you have to fight in a row, because we don't go ahead and take care of any of the Divine Beasts in any percent. So, they have to kill all 4 of the Blights, Fire, and then Thunder. And then, after that, you go straight to Calamity Ganon. If you die at any point during that, you have to start all over again from the beginning of the boss rush. So, any death, or any grave mistakes will cause a lot of time.
Yep, that is very correct. This is why you can never be entirely sure where these will go. Simply a death on Lights or Ganon can cause a complete reversal of the situations for both players. MrPop now going for one of the more difficult launches that we do on 80%, which is a box launch up towards Sanctum. It's not currently done in the Wind Bomb route, but in the older route it is done a lot. A lot of players have trouble with this one, myself included. Pop seems to get it every single time.
Yeah, I can actually remember Pop saying he doesn't remember the last time he missed that. He has a very, very consistent setup, so...
Pop now entering Lights.
And Song is just going into Fireblight.
Yep. Definitely still a little bit of time between the players. But, as we said before, any mistake on Blights or Ganon will completely reverse these situations. Pop's box walk is, Pop's launch is literally art. That could be said. If only MrPop 2 was as cool as MrPop1. I think we're all thinking that.
If only.
So thinking about Pop dying to Calamity will result in Song dying to Calamity. Another notable point where Song is currently up to is the single second phase cycle of Fireblight, and that's by doing what he just did. We're going to spin on the Fireblight. Hopefully he doesn't get up early and we'll be able to get that phase in one cycle. Pop also going for something similar for first phase of Waterblight here, but unsuccessfully. No, he got it. He got the.
He was getting the triple hit.
Triple hits on the chest, the base, and the arm, rather than the double on the base and the arm.
So that actually brings up a very small thing that I don't know if a lot of people know unless you get more into speedrunning. But if you actually do a spin attack with a two-handed weapon, and you face Link away first, and then kind of back into whatever you're swinging at, there's a good chance that you'll get double hits. And
correct.
We don't know exactly why that works, but we need to use it to our advantage. It looks like Song just downed Thunderblight, so he is on his way to Calamity.
Yes. Definitely a scary point in the run. Losing dying here will cost you significant time.
Yeah, and this opening sequence is probably the most stressful, especially to newer runners. I know I just went through this grind myself of learning how to get Calamity down, and the opening right there when he does that first melee attack and you're running to get all your weapons can cause a bit of panic. And watching people like Song and any of the top runners, mind-blowing how quickly and easily they handle it.
Song going for a parry there, and unfortunately parrying late, losing only additional part instead of dying. Very scary.
He is
He's going to try and menu for food, but he doesn't have food. He does get it this time though. That's a very tough situation for sure.
It was a little nutty, and you can see that Song's parry was a little bit shorter animation-wise compared to normal because he actually crouches to cancel the animation and sprints out of it.
He does, yes. Wolhai goods in the chat for Song. We are up to phase 2. Rob, on the other hand, on Thunderblight.
Just entered to phase 2.
And Song going for the reflect here. It does need to be successful. Yes, it's successful. If you guys like, definitely put some more Wolhai goods in the chat for that one, because a late press there on the parry would in fact have completely changed the tide.
The Song is now entering the stun lock, which is how we get through phase 2 of Calamity. Essentially what we do is we spin attack until that blue spear goes into the ground, wait a couple frames, then you slam down, and if you do the timing right, you'll actually get Calamity Ganon to stay in a stun lock. He won't attack, he won't move, he won't do anything.
That's correct. For those at home, it may be notable that this is not doable in Master Mode, so you do not want to try it. Okay, Pop getting his Flurry Rush going. And Song cleaning up Ganon. Excellent.
Yep. Now he's on to target practice.
Essentially, yes. Although one heart, he certainly can't afford to take any level of damage in this phase. It should be quite unlikely, but there's definitely a small possibility that he gets stepped on.
Yeah, but
let's hope that's not the case.
We do have to note that if he does die here, he does not go back to the beginning of the boss rush. He will just start back at the beginning of the Dark Beast. But this is probably the most auto-scrolly, actually this is the most auto-scrolly part of the game, where we have to sit through dialogue and then shoot 3 targets on each side of the beast, 1 on his belly, and then finally shoot the giant eyeball coming out of his head. Is potential to die.
Here on Ganon as well.
So one thing that amazes me about Pop is he doesn't move when he fights Calamity. He keeps movement to an absolute minimum.
I think that's definitely a very operable strategy, and it's a lot of it's one that a lot of people could do to employ rather on the lasers. The lasers are really not a big deal if you simply are holding target on Ganon. You can just sidestep the laser. It can be very effective rather than moving constantly to just shoot Ganon whilst standing still and moving the lasers. Pop definitely employs that a lot more than other runners, simply because I don't believe, like we've said before, he's using motion controls. So he needs to take advantage of that.
Ooh.
No, Pop unfortunately dying to the laser here with an early parry.
Alright, well, that is unfortunate. It looks like Song is just waiting to get the last 2 targets, and it will be GG's for the first round.
Yep, Pop actually running back into lights as well, so we may see him finish. That may, though, just be simply because he has not seen Song hit the button yet.
Yeah.
Whether or not Pop decides to do the entire game just for the sake of getting his Ganon killed and practice to make sure he's confident with it.
Oh, he's going to do menu.
Alright. Congratulations, Song, on game 1.
GG, Song.
We'll now be probably deciding about a short break in between, so expect a very, very brief break in between the next round, or this and the next round. But we'll see what Nori has to say about that first.
I'm just going to talk with them quick in IRC and see how much time they want in between. I just need to open up a new race room, fix things up, and have them join it. We'll have like a intermission on the countdown page.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Time for the 2-1 pop reversal. It definitely could happen.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen. You know, missing BTBs, dying to Calamity, not getting bananas. There's a bunch of factors that can swap the pace of the race real quick. Even something like Calamity going right to the wall in Phase 2 could be the difference.
Absolutely. And speaking of Calamity going to the wall, I do want to note that whilst Pop's current time is a 30:19 on the leaderboards, I believe that time does in fact have Ganon going to the wall. So Pop was definitely robbed of his sub 30 at least once before. So definitely don't put it past Pop to be able to pull off some extremely, extremely good race times.
Yeah, I think that's something we didn't get to touch on was going into Phase 2 because it happened so quickly, but
In Pop, we trust.
I like that.
I feel like we've mounted against Song at this point. Like, just the entire chat is against him. It feels quite bad. It feels very bad.
It's Song, dude.
Get your Wolhai goods in the chat. Take over.
Ugh.
We're all too confident in Song. Just straight out. He's too good at the game.
He is.
Okay, I'm going to check with them again. Oops, hold on. I think I need to bring their streams back in. For some reason, it wasn't bringing them in. Let's see, actually.
I don't even have a Wolhai good. I'll just give him one of these. Give him a This Will PB.
This will PB.
So I'm wondering if they're... Let me ask them if they're ready to start up. They might not want to break. They might just want to get this over with, so hold on.
Yep, check with them.
Yep. No breaks, only gains. I like it.
Only gains.
Okay,
Hey,
give
Samu
me a second.
in the chat.
We are
Samu,
going to...
man. What's up, dude?
Give me a second, and we are going to get going. So, guess
All right.
no intermission. Thanks.
All right, no intermission, guys. Feel free to take your own break during the opening cutscene here. It's going to be a lot of the same at the very, very beginning. As we did get a large raid, though, we will explain the tricks as we go. Briefly, but definitely allowing you guys to enjoy if you are not a runner or have not watched the game before. I love a lot of the same. That's any percent.
And we
Right,
are
play
off.
starting, yes. False start, I saw that.
Redo it. Start it over.
Just keep redoing it until they're 0.1 apart. No more than. Alright, guys, to signify the start of the race, definitely spam some emotes in the chat. We're looking to see potentially an upset, maybe not, maybe yes.
But really, we just want a good race.
Exactly. I want to spam some emotes in the chat, and I'm struggling to get it done. There we go.
with the pious spam.
Got to get them out there.
As well.
All right. So we can talk a bit about playing from behind and how the runners may be feeling about it. I do believe it is definitely, at least in my personal view, quite difficult to play from behind. But Pop, I do believe, has participated in events such as this before, and he has definitely done marathon running before, so hopefully that won't be an issue that phases him at all. Song now playing from ahead, this could potentially give him more of a comfort zone, but it could also pose perhaps a distraction and incite more mistakes.
Yeah, that's one issue that you run into if you're racing it from ahead is you kind of get a little bit too much confidence going.
We do need to note that Song has done a lot of these things before and also participated in GDQ, so when it comes to mental feeling, I'm sure he is much more level-headed. So
yeah, and
perhaps that won't phase him at all.
Out first this time.
Yep. Pop a little bit ahead. Song getting a reasonably good climb as well. And it looks like... Yep, looks like both players are in fact going for pot lid. Just to double check. I wasn't going to make any statements yet.
Never know, Song might throw us for a loop.
Yeah, we do need to note that there is in fact a Boko Shield route, a route that skips pot lid. That is in fact a little bit faster, but it does promote a lot of unsuccessful starts, and that is not what you need in a racing environment.
Yeah, it relies super heavily.
Pop's grabbing peppers.
Bokoblins' behavior, and we all know that Bokoblins don't like behaving, so...
Very correct. Another form of RNG that we just don't want to deal with.
Link.
That's why you'll see, you know, almost all the racers will grab backup food in the beginning, which is normally something that, just because we don't want to run the risk of dying in the first stretch.
Bokoblin's behavior or lack thereof, correct? The
Yeah,
three Bs. Bokoblins, bananas, and beetles.
Trademark that. Make money off of it.
Trademark. Said that before. It's patent pending. Alright, it looks like Pop will be okay here. Song getting attacked by Bokoblin here. Hopefully the Bokoblin does not hit him. Going to grab food and eat full, and that will likely keep him alive here. Although he does need to make his way as fast as he possibly can. There is 10 seconds from that previous cold tick that he needs to make it at least to the third jump up the cliff here.
Oof.
Song can no longer make... Oh, he does have additional food. Okay, I thought he had all three. That's fine.
He had one little mushroom tucked away.
That's all you need. Generally, you only need to eat 2 for most interactions there, so that is very, very good. Alright. Again, skew clipping, so we're going to set Link's angle a specific way by doing a shield jump. We're then going to do another shield jump at a very specific angle again, and Link is basically going to snap back, then forward again, pushing us through the shrine. Song having a little bit of trouble getting through this time, but he is now through as well.
Pop got in first try, so he is already at the point where he is activating the Sheikah Sleep.
Good. Gotta go tell Pop he is the best for you. No problem, cheesy taco. Cheesy taco will do. Unfortunately, there is no brackets command available at the moment. The brackets can be found on a challenge. I think we're allowed to post the link there. Oh, there we go. Zizag has a command for it.
You get game 3, do y'all want a third? I wouldn't mind if
It's up to Nori. I don't mind.
Yeah. So here's a little trick that people tend to mess up, I know I'm one of them, is that little jump around the boulder. Usually the game intends you for you to stasis that boulder, smack it with a weapon, and undo the stasis so that way it flies out. You can do this shield jump where you jump, slide off the side of the boulder, and then do a delayed shield jump, which will flip you onto the ledge. It is not easy to learn. This is deceiving. It looks deceivingly easy, but it is definitely a little difficult. But once you get the hang of it, it is a pretty decent time save.
Nori, if you would like to join for match 3, implying that Song is going to lose, that's a very unprofessional take, I believe.
There you go. She saved it.
Oh, saved. Can it truly be saved if it's that far after?
It's in Twitch chat. It already happened. So here's another one of the subtle little differences you'll see in any percent racing, which I find interesting, is Pop does the 3-hit approach for the stasis launch, and Song does the 4-hit approach.
Mm-hmm.
3-hit launches you straight up, which is the one I use. That's the one I learned, and I stick by it because I can be consistent. But the one Song is using is the 4-hit, where you hit 4, and then you go more to more of a side angle than straight up. I think the one that Song uses is technically, but not by much, I don't think.
I do believe it is, in fact, timed as faster, but it's, like you said, probably not a big significant difference. Pop is still, in fact, ahead after the BTB. Again, talking about BTBs, we're going to use our bullet time mode, jump off something, or shield jump off something, and then enter bullet time, landing on something that can ragdoll, such as that goblin down below. We're then going to cancel our bullet time, and as interactions are, in fact, slowed down, but some are not, when we cancel our bullet time, we're going to get a boost of speed and get propelled in a direction that we bounced off of. Another skew clip here by Song as well, and Pop is still about the same difference ahead. We're staying very consistent by both runners here.
Yeah, both of them getting that Cryonis clip in pretty quickly. That's one of the most consistent setup ones, I believe. For ones such as Magnesis, the second clip in can be a little finicky, and the same goes for bombs. Learning the second clip into the elevator area is a little bit more difficult.
Okay, we'll see both players go up to the Coronis jump again here. So we're going to place a Coronis block. It's going to start to rise. We're going to jump on it and then jump again, unequip the shield to get that little bit of extra height and then continue on. That lets us skip a seesaw effect that we would have to do on the next portion of the shrine.
Yeah, overall I think it saves roughly 7 to 8 seconds.
I wouldn't be too sure on the exact number, but I do believe it is reasonably significant from my own personal runs.
It looks like Song grabs it no problem as well.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we're up to the Magnesis BTB, which is probably going to be our first big point where one of the runners can take the lead, depending on the angle that they get. You can get a multitude of angles. The optimal one will bring you all the way to the Magnesis Shrine so quickly that the shrine textures cannot load, and you can actually just run through the front door. That is the optimal. That is the one we want. So the angle that MrPop got.
The other angle... Good.
Activate bullet time too early, you can wind up in the forest, which isn't all bad because you do get access to 10 extra arrows depending on where you land. But for the most part...
And Song's also seems fairly decent. It's a little higher, but that is okay. Pop landing in the water, almost dying, and getting unloaded shrine. Perfect.
It's 2 unloaded shrines for Pop.
Although first one, does it count? Does it really count?
Yeah.
Song also looks like he's going to get unloaded. A double unloaded race. Very, very competitive.
The hype.
Very cool.
The hype is real. It is still one of the mysteries that is still trying to be figured out at the moment, is how to consistently get the Magnesis Shrine unloaded.
Yes, it certainly gets closer and closer with new ideas being added, such as spinning, as you saw Song do, to cause the game to load a little bit slower. But whether or not that's a placebo in the end or actually successful, we still have no true way to test. But we get closer every day. One day it may be, in fact, that we have a consistently unloaded setup. Noticing there's a slight different in discrepancy now. Pop is actually a little bit further ahead simply because of his low angle Magnesis BTB. Pop didn't fall in the water. He did not.
Song missed the first Magnesis on the brick.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that usually happens if you run too close to the brick and you try to Magnesis it. You can't Magnesis through other items, so unfortunately I think he was just a little too close.
Okay. We may get to see the difference in speed gained from using box walk here, simply because we know Pop will not go for it while Song will. Pop setting up his usual basis launch. I don't know what you actually call this. Perfect, almost a picturesque, similar launch to the previous one. And it looks like his Bokoblin RNG is successful as well, and the BTB looks good. Song unfortunately not successfully getting box walk, so we may actually see a different way in which going for box walk effects, but he does pick up an extra arrow along the way. Pop missing the full damage cancel, unfortunately. That's not very good. Song will definitely be pulling ahead here if he is successful on his side of things.
So something to mention about the box walk is that if you walk too fast or too slow, or you don't follow the box exactly, explode and drop you where you are.
Unfortunately, this is an unfortunate point to die for Pop simply because you do need to do the entire segment again. So, having trouble getting those hits on that plank as well, though he will be able to add 2 more, 3 more, and then hop on. Yes, Pop still getting there and going for his BTB here. Hopefully the Bokoblins... Yes, the Bokoblins are fine, and he'll go for it here. And it's a little bit to the left, but it should be okay and remain on top of plateau. It's important to note that if the Goblin does turn, or in fact goes to throw, and you end up further off to the left, you can fall off plateau. Avoiding out is not something you want to see. Okay, Pop running out of stamina here, but he's making his way to his skew location.
One thing you'll see if a runner runs out of stamina, you'll see them actually pull out the shield. Link running with the shield open, with the shield out, is actually slightly faster than Link without any stamina walking. So, very small.
With Bomb Impact Launcher, Song not successfully getting the first one. Oh, Song actually opting to not go for a second one because he only has 2 hearts here. That can be a very sensible move, as you do need to make sure your bomb launch does only get you landing on the platform that we're running across now. If you fall down to below, you're going to roll and take more than 2 hearts of damage. Although Song did in fact make a mistake, there is still quite a bit of difference simply because of the level of the mistake. That mistake where Pop didn't unfortunately get the full damage cancel is quite a long reload, while Song's is right at the start.
Pop again with the early cycle.
Yep. Certainly faster than missing a bomb launch and then going for one. As we can see, they're catching up now. Alright, only a very, very slight difference between the 2 runners once again. Very close race for sure. Why is the estimate 1 hour? I believe each race is probably estimated around an hour, just simply because if the runner does in fact want to finish and does die on flight support cannon, they will need to do the segment again. This is the first attempt. This is the second round. The first one went to Song.
Song with the good Beetle RNG.
Definitely something you want to see. Often if you don't get this Beetle here, you will opt to swap to Amiibo if you have the option.
That Beetle is a key part of the recipe for making a attack up potion, which is necessary for defeating the boss rush at the end of the game. That Beetle can appear on a numerous amount of different trees in that area, so
That's correct.
first tree is what we call good Beetle.
See, is Pop also successful? It does look like it. That's going to keep things close as well. Perfect. And let's see Pop's rocket launch here as well. It looks good. The angle looks fine. Very nice. Both players landing very, very close to where they need to be. Okay. Pop finishing up the dialogue here and going for his castle BTB. Rather, Song, not Pop.
Oh, Pop is skipping through the cutscenes at the moment.
Yes. Song has skew here. We're likely to see a higher angle here. It is important to note that you do in fact go higher if you have skew when you do this BTB. That is also how we get to dining hall successfully.
That is actually something I did not know, so that is good to note for the future.
And something I did also not know until I asked. I believe Harm informed me that Rasen said it was a few different words of mouth, but I definitely can confirm it works. This is how I do Amiibo as well. Pop getting his as well, perfect. Both players clearly are warmed up now. Song looks like he may be having stamina issues here, unfortunately. It could be due to the higher angle and the need to adjust. Getting a bit of a bounce off of the floor there.
Unfortunately, didn't have enough stamina to catch onto the wall there.
Yes, it looked like he did have enough initially, but I imagine the risk comes from having a higher angle BTB. He's actually going to climb the tower here and likely grab additional arrows. Pop, on the other hand, should have a chance to get ahead here. Also doing shield pumps here, although in Pop's situation I think he is fine regardless. Oh, maybe not. Maybe these are in fact necessary. Both players getting a very high angle. Yes, both players getting very, very high angles despite having very good stamina. Oh, okay, so Song, yes, Song went bombing up to the top. Did he grab the chest? I didn't get to see.
I didn't notice. I was paying attention to Mr. Pop, who actually got some pretty good arrows.
Song getting okay arrows, but not the best. 7 total. He did get 5 electric arrows, so okay, he got it from the chest then. And reload here. So both players are actually basically tied at this point. They're both going for banana. We'll see what the result of that is. And on arrows, they're in the... Oh, Pop getting it first try? I believe first try there.
Yeah, that's a first try bananas.
Song on his second try now. Getting 2 on second try. Definitely not too big of a difference here. But as you can see, Pop is definitely running ahead with his home save. Song going for the wind bomb here. This could catch him up if he's successful in getting it the first time. Unfortunately not having the bow equipped. Attempt number 2. And successful, good. Races are very close, yes. Oh, Song opting to actually make sure he grabs the bow first this time. By entering the menu here, he basically encourages the game to load a little bit faster. Although, being able to gauge whether or not it's loaded yet is definitely a guessing game. It's generally a few seconds. And everything is now loaded since he entered menu here. Pop. And this is also where we'll see a big difference in the routes. Basically, whilst watching both players, Pop going for cooking first, as you see here, while Song actually making his way down the hall. to grab the sword. This is the difference in the 2 rounds, because one player will be going for wind bombs here, whilst one will be going for the traditional castle route.
Something to note, Pop actually got the crit potion. So every time you cook, there is an opportunity for your potion to quote-unquote crit, where you get just under double durability. So instead of a 5 minute and 10 seconds, which it normally is, his Mr. Pop's potion is actually 10 minutes and 10 seconds. So he does not have to worry about his potion running out during blights.
Certainly so, but if he does in fact take 10 minutes for Ganon, we will have a little bit of a problem time-wise for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But it is always nice. It also can be notable that if you've somehow ended up here with a very odd situation with food, crit does often and can give you additional attack. So it can turn a 2 attack into a 3. But the route does plan pretty well to be prepared, so it won't, of course, ever really need to run into that RNG factor.
Both runners looking like they got decent arrows. I wouldn't say the best, but
definitely enough to complete.
Yeah.
Alright. Song now cooking as well. Heating the moblin as well as the fireplace, or the cooking pot.
The very close races, both players should be getting to Sanctum at approximately the same time.
It should be very much so.
All depends if Song gets the wind bombs in time, though.
Yes. Successful on the first. Now this is very cool to see. Basically the Sanctum approaches from both strategies here.
And the second one's good, too.
Yep, looks like they'll both be entering Sanctum near identical timing.
I think Pop will be slightly ahead, depending on his menuing.
Yep, just a tiny bit.
Oh man, this is all going to come down to RNG, I think.
Wolhaiksong Ganon. Okay, both players starting off with light here. We're going to start with 4. Swing to the sword, swapping to the claymore, and then turning around and spinning for those double hits that we talked about before. Song actually getting the phase, whilst Pop unfortunately not quite getting that. There we go. Just like that, the tide has turned slightly again.
Unfortunately, what happened was the wind blade moved and got just out of the range of Mr. Pop's spin attack. So did that, and then he also summoned the tornado, which will bring you down to a quarter of a heart. But
okay, so moving on to phase 1 of Water Blight here. He breaks his spear and then swaps to the Rock Smasher and then proceeds to double hitting again. He doesn't successfully get the phase, so he will require 2 arrows to take him down in phase 2. Pop, on the other hand, similar situation, 2 arrows, but this does bring them slightly closer together, very slightly. Okay. And on Water Blight phase here, they're going to make sure that they're against the wall here, simply because otherwise the Blight will not land down below. He'll get knocked and land on top. Throwing in the boomerang for some extra damage. Both players actually getting opposite sides here as well. So they'll be doing the second portion on their different side. Okay, so I'm getting his Water Blight phase 2 and moving on to Fire Blight phase 1. Pop is just slightly behind. He's going to finish up the Blight here. Okay, 3 hits with the Rock Smasher and then a slam, and then another 3 hits with the Rock Smasher and then a slam for Song. Then swaps to the sword to finish off the Blight phase 1.
so it's important to mention the reason we do those 3 hits as soon as possible is Fireblight's cleave and hit protection. So the game has a built-in mechanic where if you have 3 hearts, or if you have full health, and an attack would kill you, usually what the game will do is it'll bring you to a quarter of a heart and let you survive. There are a few attacks in this game, though, especially in this boss rush, that completely ignore that rule. Eve is definitely one of those. And Fireblight getting the early rise.
Unfortunately, Song, that means Pop does have a chance to turn the tide here. Unfortunately for Pop, the same situation.
But, ooh, Pop just missing the one cycle.
Okay, so moving on to first phase of Thunderblight. We're going to again be very tight on time, I suppose. If you don't run up the Blight straight away, and if you don't slam straight away, as we just noticed there, he will unfortunately do that. He regenerates the shield straight away, so Song will need to hit the shield away. He swaps to the boomerang for that in this case. And spin attacks. And Pop getting the more traditional phase, so Pop will now pull ahead again, and we see another change in tide. Always root for whoever's behind. Well, in this particular case, we can't tell anymore. It's swapping back and forth so rapidly. Okay. Waiting for the attack to begin so they can throw their boomerangs at the shield to break it. And then an arrow to knock them down. 4 hits will likely give you a positive result here and let you break the shield on the 4th, and then spinning attack to finish. Both players are successful in that point. Unfortunately, Song slightly off with the durability and are requiring an extra slam and 2 hits. Okay. Pop throwing his additional durability claymore there. And now going for a flurry rush. Both players flurry rushing at the same time now. So
nice flurry rushes.
Damage. Making his way towards the arrows, but starting to get some additional shots as he does it. Song doing something similar, although he grabs the first before he begins. Getting a reflect here. Much more confident this one gets successful with that, if he definitely will. And then Pop doing some headshots here with bomb arrows. Seeing, as we said before, Pop stands still, waits for the laser to just be ready to go, and then moves. Definitely an effective way to guarantee some headshots. A very scary situation is what what Ganon actually just did then, where he goes for the Thunderblight attack, where he summons the pillars. If you're unfortunately unlucky and shooting bomb arrows at that time, you can end up killing yourself without being able to particularly do anything about it.
And Mr. Pop is entering into phase 2, shortly followed by Song.
Entering phase 2 as well. Bad. Laser for Pop. Breaks the shield, he has his backup. Song not getting laser first try, Song now running in with a laser. Pop getting the reflect here, the parry. Song also getting the parry.
This is so close.
It is definitely very close. Stunlock begins. No, Stunlock unsuccessful for Pop there. Song is successful on his Stunlock starting here as well.
I think Pop trying to
rush here.
Trying to force a laser, but
unfortunately not. Now he
joins no.
Ganon is definitely not being kind to Pop here. Fortunately, giving an attack that Pop can reflect straight away, but it is a very slow attack. Song successfully finishing Ganon here, and moving on to the beast part of the fight. Whilst Pop is unfortunately having to restart his Stunlock here.
That has got to hurt. I know.
It certainly does.
Stunlock has a very, very small window timing to get that slam. You have to wait a couple, not even a half a second after the spear goes into the ground. If you're too early or too late, it just doesn't work, and Ganon will ground slam, and if you're not paying attention, will probably kill you.
Very true. What a close race, that's for sure. It came down to the wire several times.
I mean, it's doubtful, but there is a chance.
There is always
Could
a chance.
turn around. If Song somehow dies to Dark Beast, he will start back at the beginning of this fight. The likelihood of that is very low, but we'll have the possibility.
Very true.
Schieß auf die leuchtenden Stellen. Er windet sich vor Schmerzen.
Song, slow down. I don't believe this will happen.
Somebody Snapchat him or something.
Ich bringe seinen Hass zurück. Nur noch ein bisschen. Dann haben wir ihn. Link, sieh nur. Sieh dir Ganons Kopf an.
Song is waiting to deliver the final blow.
Das ist Link.
Pop's dancing in the legs of Ganon here. Soon to be doing the same thing. Yes, that's correct. Song will be playing with German voice and French text. Best of 7. Unfortunately, not yet. GG Song. GG.
GG Song.
Shortly after here, we'll see GG Pop.
GG Pop for
GG Pop as
finishing.
well. Nice.
Oh boy.
Do keep in mind that the Song did in fact forget to split after finishing Ganon there. Both players getting what I'd like to say would be under RTA a 31. Yeah, lower 31 for Song and then a higher one for Pop.
Yeah,
No,
that's
rather a mid one for Pop.
31. A spectacular time.
Yeah, very, very good race times. Okay. Will we be getting interviews? The bot said so. Correct.
Okay, so so how is this going? Did Mr. Pop win the second? Are
No,
we going
Song
to a
didn't
third?
split.
Oh, we didn't split, so we're counting it as a win even though it wasn't technically via SRL?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say personally that doesn't make particularly sense considering the timing does in fact end when the shot happens, not when the split happens, so
Okay.
it wouldn't make much sense otherwise.
Yeah. So now it's Mr. Pop1 going to play.
Unless Song did that intentionally. You can leave it to him if he wants to do that. But I don't know if that would be correct.
Okay, so I should ask them both to come in.
Dein Leiden.
Yeah, if they want to, of course. Some post
Und deshalb
rounds banter.
hatte ich Vertrauen.
Did
Ich war mir
While we're
ganz
waiting for the
sicher,
players
du würdest
to
die Verheerung
enter again,
Ganons
just bringing up.
zurückschlagen.
Thank you very much, Linkus7 for the raid before. I hope you had a very good stream. So we didn't get to talk about it at the time.
Okay, I asked them
And
if
for
they come
Linkus'
in.
viewers,
Vielen Dank für alles.
thank you very much as well.
Hold on.
Erinnerst du dich?
Okay.
Weißt du
Oh,
noch, wer ich
Mr.
bin?
Pop is joining us.
Hey Pop,
There he is. Hey, Pop.
what's up, dude?
Hello.
I'm sad, man. That was so close.
That was so close.
I'm sad.
Sad days, dude.
Oh well.
Is Song gonna come in here and just talk the maddest shit? Is that what was agreed upon?
I don't know. Why don't you ask him?
I don't know, dude.
Yeah, ask me.
Oh yeah, he's here, dude.
Oh, man.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh god, are you gonna talk the maddest shit now? I heard some Twitter posts before this event, reports to Apollo Legend, things of that nature.
I'll see him in grand finals.
Oof,
Yeah.
Oof.
the bold statement. Very, very, very likely statement. But
You heard it here. Mr. Pop's going to come through.
he just has to win one loser's game, right? He's right at the standing at the end.
Yeah.
Believe so.
Yep. Well, there you go. Will we see a repeat? Will we see an upset in the losers bracket? Will the losers bracket ever catch up?
Oh man.
I just want to say real quick, it looks like Wolhaiksong's .done didn't go through in SRL, so that's why he's still showing his running.
Oh, he's still going, dude. The run isn't over. Race to the credits.
That's pretty weird though, because I use live split, and normally when you like do the last split,
When you split, it
it's
should
like-
work, yeah.
yeah. But
Don't worry.
whatever.
The decision was made. We all understand that the run is over when you shoot, not when you split. Otherwise, DDQ runs would never finish.
Yeah, let's see. But yeah, I don't know. I choked lights pretty bad. I was so bad about that. My plays were
On the
garbage.
second?
Yeah, they were garbage.
You and Pop back and forth so many times through Blights.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it
Blights was bad.
really crazy.
What else was notable? Oh, Magnesis for Pop in game one was definitely a scary situation. That looked really awkward. I just don't know what was going wrong. How do you feel about that?
I got like a 10-10 second time, so I don't really care about the first one.
That's true. The first one was really the first one was scary, but the second one was perfect. You had a lower angle than Song on that second one as well, so you got there very, very quick.
Yeah, and in the second one, both of you got unloaded.
Oh,
You
really?
did. You both got unloaded.
That's crazy.
Yep. The double unloaded.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm
I don't know.
not happy with how I played. That's all I'm gonna say.
You're never happy with how you play, so I think that's
True.
that just goes to show quality right there.
Song, I would sacrifice a lot of things to play like you on your bad day.
There you go. It's a soul practice.
So practice it. I promise.
He promises, dude.
I promise you, dude.
You heard it here first. Nah,
2
it
years.
definitely comes down to practice. 3 years.
No.
3 years, dude.
2.5.
Yeah, all right. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go, dude.
All
right. Final thoughts? Other than we already know from Pop that he's gonna shit on whoever gets there in the losers bracket. What else have we got?
Oh, dude. I don't know. GG's. That's all I gotta
GGs.
say.
GG's.
Definitely GG's, guys. It was amazing to watch you two run.
Yeah, that was actually really, really good. That was quite fun.
Oh, by the way, Pop is getting reported to Apollo Legend.
No, see, that's not how it works.
No,
It's the other way now.
no.
It's the other way.
One, I'm not gonna say names, but one of Pop's fans messaged me mid calamity. That's all I'm gonna say.
What?
That's all I'm.
Why are you reading messages
I'm not joking.
mid-calamity?
I,
Whoa.
I just heard a Discord notification, dude. Literally
Oh, okay.
mid calamity. That's all I'm gonna say, dude. So,
Oh,
Pop is
my.
going into Apollo Legend, dude.
Oh, God, dude.
I got screenshots.
Yes.
I got
Wow.
screenshots, bro. You're done.
I'm not responsible for my fans.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really understand, right? So we're saying what? Pop's cheated to lose? Nah, I don't know about that. I think Song's cheated to win. What's happened here?
I mean, all I'm saying is that we were pretty close at calamity, so maybe
interesting.
a fan was like, maybe if I message Song, you know. Just saying, dude. Just saying.
Well, yeah, they're probably trying to Snapchat you. Yeah, I think
I
chat
got
sponsors
crazy.
something.
It was it was Jumbo. It was Jumbo Moses trying to sabotage me.
That would be funny.
Oh my god. Why are you laughing, dude? I'm being serious.
Oh, are you serious? Oh no, dude.
Stop laughing, dude.
Better be
You're
fearful.
done.
It's over.
Oh my god. Anyway.
Jumbo Moses. That's right. It's Jumbo Moses.
Jumbo Mooses, huh? Spoopy Jumbo Mooses. Alright.
Any last words or anything from anyone? And also GG's to both Wolhaiksong and Mr. Pop. It was such an incredible two matches tonight. It was literally a nail biter for me.
Yep, that was a really good one.
Yeah,
I'm sure everyone enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
Just once again, shout out to Linkus7 for the big raid.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, shout out to Linkus for that. That was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't got anything. Mitchie, it's been great. Finally actually getting to talk to you.
Hey, appreciate it. That's all I got.
Ben.
Nice to talk to you as well.
So are we ready to call it a night?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I don't think there's anything scheduled yet for any of the remaining Breath of the Wild any percent tournament matches.
We have something coming up.
Is there?
Yeah, I swear I saw something.
Let me check real
Yeah,
quick.
I don't know if it was just under this one and it was supposed to be before it, but I did see a
No,
second.
I think there was something before. This is the only match showing up on the screen. Well, let me double check something. Oh, there is. I don't know why it's not showing now. Okay. For some reason, it's not showing. It's Lulu Corp versus Outer Earth on Saturday. I believe it's 12 p.m. Eastern, which is 1600 UTC, I believe. So I don't know why it's not showing on the schedule now. For some reason, it's not showing. Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing, but it is. There is something on Saturday. I'm sorry, did I say? If I said Sunday, I meant Saturday. It's the 19th. So I don't know why it disappeared. I'll have to ask Trez about it because the sheets have a tendency to break.
Okay, fair enough.
So.
All right.
Okay.
So expect something maybe.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. It's been scheduled. It's on the if you look on the calendar, it is on the calendar. For some reason, it's not showing on the sheet that's linked there. Okay. So thanks everyone.
All right. That's good.
And I guess big shout out to Michikusa and Talis Thomas for doing commentary tonight. Always a pleasure, and thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Because if you were waiting for me to do commentary, there would be no restream. Because I don't know about this game, but that's why I'm better in the background. And again, GG's to Wolhaiksong and MrPop. Looking forward to your upcoming matches. Should be very exciting. So
Looking forward to seeing Song not play for the next 4 weeks. All losers catch us up.
Yeah. That always happens.
Big play, guys. Please.
Okay. Thanks again.
Peace.
Okay.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Good night.